Okay, Dave, so a guy comes into the store and he's just bought a brand new table saw, or somebody's had a table saw for a while, but they've got that kind of cheap blade that comes on the saw. They want to get a good blade. What do you recommend?
The blade I recommend is the Forrest Woodworker II, an American-made blade.
It's a great blade. So that's billed as a combination blade, right? Does it really do everything?
Absolutely. That's the main reason I like it, because it takes the place of 3 blades.
Okay, all 3, a combination.
Combination blade, a rip blade, and a crosscut blade.
So as a combination blade, it's typically supposed to do all those things, but when you talk about having a crosscut blade, that's a pretty specialized blade typically. So more teeth, usually 60 teeth. This only has 40.
That's correct. But you can crosscut oak plywood without splintering.
Okay, so that's the key. If you have a blade that'll cut through plywood, especially like oak or something that splinters very easily, this is the blade to use.
That's right. But at the same time, because it is only 40 tooth, you can cut up to 2-inch hardwoods or softwoods rip with it.
Okay, well that's a good thing. So now we're into the rip part of it. So rip blade might be 20 teeth or something, so this is 40 teeth. How does it get a good rip cut?
Well, one of the reasons is it has a 20-degree face hook on it, which makes the feed rate much easier. It actually kind of pulls it along maybe, so you can cut thicker stuff.
So each tooth kind of grabs into the wood, and it actually makes it easier to make a rip cut. It almost pulls the piece through the blade.
That's right.
Okay, so we've got good rip and we've got good cross cut even in, say, oak plywood. So now what I get is all that, the saw blade marks on the workpiece sometimes. Why is this one different?
Well, the side clearance on the teeth, for one thing, they're grounds especially to keep that scratching from happening. Plus, the bodies are within 1/1000th of being dead flat, so you don't get any flutter.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so another thing is the shape of the tooth. In order to make a nice smooth cut, it's beveled on the top edge, correct?
That's right. It has a 15-degree top bevel.
Right.
And it's alternating, which means one tooth is beveled 15 degrees one way, and the next tooth is beveled 15 degrees the opposite way.
So the grind of the tooth and that bevel gives it kind of a shearing action,
That's right. That's right.
That's pretty steep, 15 degrees.
It's steeper than a lot of combination blades, yes.
Okay, so that's what gives it that really nice smooth cut, is it's shearing through the wood. Now typically on a combination blade, you would have a raker tooth, which is kind of flat ground across like a rip blade would be. This does not have that, right?
No, it does not. Since it's 40 teeth, the teeth are further apart, and you really don't need that.
Okay, so the raker tooth, sometimes to clear out some of the material, you're only 40 teeth instead of 60, so you get a good cut, but a very smooth cut with that shearing action.
That's right, yes. I mean, this thing will cross cut like a blade with many more teeth.
Okay, so we've got the 3 things: the hook angle, the taper behind each tooth of the blade body itself is really flat, and it's cutting through pretty thick wood. So if my saw is good horsepower, I can see that I can cut through, say, 2-inch maple or something.
Yeah, if you've got 1 3/4 or more, use the full Kerf blade, the 1/8 inch thick Kerf.
Right.
If you've got 1.5 horses or less, Forrest recommends you use their thin Kerf blade.
Okay, so that's 3/32.
3/32.
So thinner Kerf, it's not the path of the blade, it's not taking out as much material. Thinner body though, so does it still give the nice smooth cut?
It will. They do recommend on the thin Kerf you use a stiffener. They have several different sizes, but you can use up to a 5-inch stiffener and still cut through 2 inches of wood.
Okay, so you add the stiffener to the thin Kerf blade, which is a thinner body, of course,
right,
and that'll give you that same really perfect cut without the saw marks.
That's correct.
Now, if I'm using it all the time, it's going to get dull. What do I do about sharpening?
Well, you can send it back to them. The original packaging is made to return right to them.
Okay, it's not fancy packaging at all, just a plain white box, but it's got their address on it. I think there's instructions on here, the pricing and everything, how to send it back and get it back to Forrest Manufacturing. They'll sharpen it and make sure it's back to factory perfect, right?
That's correct. That's correct. The other thing is they use a carbide that'll last way longer than anybody else's blade. So you'll be sending in less. Between Sharpie will last much longer between sharpenings, and you can get a lot of sharpenings out of this blade.
You don't need to sharpen it very often. Depends on how much woodworking you're doing,
Correct.
what you're cutting.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great option, I think, to replace a blade, or replace 3 blades that you might have on your saw. The combination of rip blade and a cross cut all in one, and perfect cuts. It's a great blade.
Yeah, when you consider that, the price isn't that bad.
Right. Okay, well, thanks, Dave. It's good advice on
Thank you,
getting a
Don.
good. All right, thanks.